Hello, welcome to OCD, Obsessive Consumer Disorder. A series that captures the myriad lives of partners, promoters, professionals, and entrepreneurs from the media, entertainment, creative, and marketing spaces. We are here to find out what makes our hearts tick and why we continue to pursue what we think is a promising career. Today, I have a very interesting guest on my show, Richard Roy Mendonce. Head of Digital Marketing at Digital Strategy at the Yashoda Group of Hospitals. Richard, thanks for coming on the show. I hope
My
I got
pleasure.
that right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for
My
coming,
pleasure.
making the time.
Gautam. Yeah.
Richard, the show is about consumers and all of us marketers working behind the scenes, trying to understand what we're trying to do for the businesses we're working with, be it in a agency like ours or a single brand or an institutional business like yours, right? So, firstly, Richard, I want to understand a little bit about you, your roots. I think it'll make just for interesting listening for all of us, where you hail from and what your childhood was like.
Okay. Great, and I'm happy to be on this. So my parents natively are from the Western Ghats side, so the Mangalore, the coastal, and long back my father settled in Bangalore, born and brought up in Bangalore, studies, everything happened in Bangalore. I did engineering post my schooling
Right.
and was a little lazy to go to work. So then I said, okay, let me do an MBA.
Right. So you didn't work in between,
I didn't
between
work
undergrad
after-
and,
no, I didn't.
and an MBA.
So I did my engineering in a field called textile manufacturing.
Okay. Okay.
So I was not a very studious kind of a person,
Sure.
and I wanted to avoid math altogether.
Okay.
And someone suggested me take up textiles.
Okay.
So it's
There'll be a little less math.
less math.
Yeah.
And ended up doing more physics and chemistry,
Okay.
which ended up having more math.
Right.
But then, while I was finishing that, the textile industry wasn't doing that good.
Right.
So people ended up just being merchandisers and
Okay.
non-technical stuff.
Sure.
And then, okay, let me take up an MBA.
MBA immediately. Yeah.
So I did an MBA in affiliated to Visvesvaraya
University.
in Bangalore. By the time I was finishing the MBA, I got a call from Manipal Hospitals, and that was a shock.
Okay.
The entire of MBA didn't teach us marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They did teach us marketing, but didn't teach us healthcare marketing.
Sure.
And that question struck: why does hospital need marketing?
Right.
And that is maybe the start of my journey.
Which year was this?
This was 2009.
Okay.
That is how I landed up into a marketing role in a hospital,
Sure.
and gradually took up multiple roles within the organization, and digital happened.
Let's go back to your first job.
Yeah,
When you got there, you must have had some thoughts around what you're getting into and what it's going to be like. How was day one? How was week one? How was month one? Reality must have struck.
Yeah. Honestly, back in those days, it was just you want a job first.
Right.
I had got a couple of offers which were like from a smaller companies and stuff. And startup was not so fancier back then.
Yeah.
Back then, and job security and big name was
Yeah.
more of a family.
Because the funding scene hadn't picked up so much.
yeah,
back
and
then.
it also the family's view over what is a stable and
Correct. Absolutely.
settled job. They always prefer somebody who works in a big company with
Yeah.
big building, good name.
That was going to be my next question. What did they think of the first gig? Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that
I
was
think
it.
you
Yeah,
already
yeah,
answered
yeah.
it.
So I joined them. So they had a program called management trainee program.
Okay.
So every year they used to hire like 5 to 10 management trainees from various schools,
Sure.
and they put us into every department.
Okay.
Like 1 month in marketing, 1 month operations, and you have to do night duties.
Sure.
So the 1 year was like a learning phase.
Okay.
And because I was from a marketing background, so I preferred to continue in the marketing department. Did a bit of branding and events. Also did, so healthcare has something called as a field sales team, basically to develop the referral network.
Sure.
So it's the other way of creating brand perception among the other stakeholders in the industry.
Correct.
So I did that.
You did field sales for a
Field
bit.
sales also accompanied with the seniors,
Yeah.
going in the bike rolling.
Does that involve going to RMPs and having conversations with them? So
yeah.
you were there.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the kind
yes,
of work you did.
So that
In the guise of marketing, this is all the stuff you
Yes,
had to end up
yes.
doing.
And that set a very good foundation in terms of understanding the industry.
Yeah.
Right? In marketing, we studied like you have to manage different set of customers, internal
Correct.
and external.
Correct.
Now this industry had so many customers to manage.
Yeah.
There's a patient, there's an internal doctor,
Correct.
there's a management, there's a doctor sitting outside who is also kind
a
of
customer.
client.
Yeah, he is
And
a client. He has to come use your facility
yeah,
and
yeah.
spend some time with consultations in your facility, etc. Yeah. So different kind profiles of customers.
Correct, different kind.
Different grades of society, different
Yeah,
profiles
yeah.
of customers.
And you have to play different roles there.
Correct,
You,
correct.
you can't be sophisticated, polished everywhere. Somewhere you have to be humble and show that you don't know much
Right.
just to get that deal out.
So the ground level healthcare sort of marketing exercise is what you carried out while you were there, and you picked up from there. So that's a
Yes,
good
yes,
foundation
yes,
at Manipal at your first job.
Yeah.
And did you thoroughly enjoy this experience?
Yeah, it was. So it was a good learning experience, and
Sure.
and back then Manipal was doing really good. Even now it is doing
Sure,
good, and it is one of the pioneers in terms of healthcare as a group.
So, is there anything that you picked up from your childhood, and this is what we like to sort of broach upon a little bit in this segment? Is have you carried that into your professional life from your first job onwards? And this is something you picked up as a child. Was there something? Is there curiosity? Is there is there a way you have with people, or what is the extraordinary thing around childhood which has helped you through your career?
So my childhood was a little different from what I look right now. So,
Right.
so I now maybe look like a more serious and more composed. But I
No,
was
you don't. You look like an everyday guy.
yeah, right. So, but I was.
You don't look serious at all. Don't worry about that. Unless you want to.
Yeah, I think it makes us right after
Correct.
some time. So I was a little more on the naughtier side, experiential, break things, fix it, buy new things, open it first, then see what's inside, kind of temperament. And I was extremely outgoing in terms of nature, right? And that actually helped me in terms of marketing. So even when I was trying to choose my domain in MBA, so people said you should do marketing because
Correct.
you're outgoing, you can speak. So I was little into music, singing and stuff. So I didn't have the kind of stage fright or
Correct.
that kind of helped me there.
Right.
So I used to take up every marketing exposure as an act.
Yeah.
I used to present that as an act,
Correct.
prepare it and present it, and
Correct.
that used to work.
So basically, adventure and presentation.
Yes.
Both sort of a knack for adventure.
Correct.
And taking on adventure and presentation both come naturally.
yes,
And this is what has helped you
Yeah, yeah.
through your career. You continue to hold it even today.
Yeah, even
so
now.
part of
So
your
I think everything is an ad.
Yeah.
You treat it like an ad copy. So that's what one of my previous bosses said. You don't write long content.
Yeah,
Nobody reads it.
yeah.
You think of every sentence as an ad copy. Can
Sure.
it connect? And then
Sure. What is this thing about IIM Bangalore, and what was your gig with that? And
so IIMs were all about short executive programs
Sure.
in terms of upgradation of digital marketing that I used to do.
sure.
So both of them were into digital marketing and social media strategy. Short duration courses, but good industry connects. You could learn from so people from different industries came. They had various perspective of things. And IIMs are known to get good faculty
Yeah.
and resource personnel
Yeah. From the industry.
from the industry
Yeah.
and who've
So
done
that-
it
yeah.
instead of just bookish knowledge.
Correct. And was that helpful? Was that a good course?
It was helpful.
Where did you do it? Did you happen to be at IIM Bangalore or?
Yeah, it was a residential
Okay.
week and a half program.
Okay. Awesome. Richard, you are part of a segment which is sort of has grown very quickly over the last decade.
Yeah.
Right? 2009 when you started out, the healthcare industry must have had two names in every city.
Yeah.
At best, every metro
Yeah,
in India at best.
yeah.
Right? Today there's a lot of global activity and there's a lot of consolidation happening within the segment, right? And I'm not even getting into the medtech space because that space is also getting heavily funded and there's a lot of activity happening there. But just the institutional side of the business, what have your learnings been through, say, a Manipal, a Colombo Asia, and Sakra, and now you're with Yashoda Group? And what have your learnings been through this fast growth pace? In your 1 decade, you've seen so much.
See, healthcare, if you remove all the nuts and bolts and everything out of it, right? Two people only matter in the entire scene.
Yeah.
The patient and a doctor.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a demand and a supply. So if you have to put the entire industry together.
Correct.
So what I've learned is choosing the right group, right, is very important because the group brings in the expertise, the domain knowledge, and the delivery experience that the customer is happy about. And that is a product. So you have a product in hand that you can sell.
Correct.
Right? And then the vision towards how do you want to stay ethical? How do you want to communicate? How do you want to expand? But there are groups who've taken extremely slower pace in terms of growing.
And the harder route,
Harder route, but they've
but
made
the more ethical route.
correct. They ensured, okay, customer experience, patient experience is the key for us.
Sure.
Let's not make money right now.
Sure.
I think it's a mix of both. Having a good set of team that can deliver what has been promised by the team out in the market.
Interesting. And so you're saying this, there is both kinds of scaling that's happened.
Yes. Yes.
And you're sitting in a seat where you can see
Correct.
which group has gone which way.
And the other aspect of it is moving along with the customer.
Sure.
The customer is no more the same 5 years or 10 years back.
Sure.
You don't have to call a patient anymore. He's a customer now.
Yeah.
He's a paying customer.
So all of them are not just one-time customer. They, because of the trust associated with a healthcare institution or with a doctor, they also become repeat customers.
Yes, yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
So there's a fundamental shift in the way the patient is changed during this phase, right?
Okay.
So the customer is always, if you say the customer is a king, so
Right.
customer always thought he's a king,
Yeah.
except a patient, or
Except
maybe
the healthcare space.
or maybe a student in a school.
Right. Right.
So though they paid a lot of money and they never demanded for what they wanted.
Correct.
But the change is very evident now.
Right.
So they want faster, better, cheaper, right? And they demand and they know what they want. And so that is a pace where the healthcare has to take up. And the groups that have gone and taken that route have been successful
Sure.
in this space.
So things have changed. It's not
Yes, yes,
one-way traffic anymore.
It is not.
It is in fact the traffic is coming in the other way.
Correct.
Demands are coming
Yes,
in the other
yes,
way.
yes.
And rightly so, I think. It's important that institutions also build this warmth around them and give
Yeah,
their patients
yeah.
an experience.
You cannot completely ignore a patient now.
Correct.
So you have to treat them like a customer.
Absolutely. Richard, I want to delve a little deeper into what you do at this organization and the construct of your team, etc. So you head digital strategy.
Yeah.
So for people who are listening to this show, could you just give us a sense of what it is what that translates to in a healthcare space in terms of everyday actions and what you do?
So, like any other company or industry, so digital strategy or marketing is to ensure the online presence of the company is in the right frame,
Yeah.
which can attract and build business to the company.
Sure. So it's a combination of perception building and
marketing.
revenue generation.
Revenue generation. Because it's healthcare, the dynamics are a little different here. There are certain regulations also in place.
Yes.
You cannot solicit patients into the business.
Sure.
If you see any other business also, right, the opinion leaders tend to become the service providers also, right?
Correct.
So the trust factor on an opinion leader is always more
Correct.
in terms of getting a service.
Correct.
So our marketing in digital marketing or healthcare marketing, whatever is it, is in the business of becoming an opinion leader, being a go-to provider for any healthcare information.
Sure.
One. Once the healthcare information piece is cracked, then the healthcare delivery is a successive progression there.
Correct. So it's step one is information.
Information. So the marketing is in the guise of creating awareness,
Sure.
information sharing,
Sure.
and information that the customer is looking for at various stages of his decision-making cycle.
Sure. So I think one of the industries that took on fastest is healthcare, because there is people Google everything before they actually call a hospital or see a doctor.
Yeah.
And there's so much of myth busting that needs to be done in this space,
It is.
right? So how do you sort of counter this, or how do you sort of approach this? Because I'm sure you must have a lot of myths floating around about each department and each specialization.
So because it's a healthcare space, as you rightly said, and it's in the information space, there's a lot of responsibility that brands need to take.
Correct.
In terms of giving the accurate information. One thing that we follow in our team, wherever I've been, is we use extremely accurate information, referenced and vetted by the domain expert
Sure.
for whatever is the content.
Sure.
Healthcare content is such that you cannot summarize it in a blog
Yeah.
or a few pages.
Yeah.
Every cough can lead to a cancer or death.
Correct.
So that is the kind of sensitivities we keep in mind.
Sure. Before you put a
Before you
statement
put it
out
out.
or an opinion out, right?
So the information is titrated to a level that it can help him understand, okay, maybe I have this
Yeah.
and I should go to this kind of specialist
Correct,
only.
correct.
And not to a level that he can self-diagnose.
So it's more directive, not instructional.
It's not, even if it's instructional, not to self-treat.
Right. It's
Yeah.
more to see the
What can I
specialist. See the
expect out of
specialist.
this kind
See
of
the specialist.
specialist, yes.
Which specialist to see?
Yes.
At best.
Correct.
And like you said,
Yeah.
every cough could lead to
cancer.
it could lead in any direction.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
So I think it's best not to
Yeah,
self-treat.
yeah.
So that is one question. And second question is again, it's like a pond of like a very dense pond.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of fish there.
Yes.
Right. How do you make sure that your brand and what have been the steps you've been taking to get your brand to have an edge in that space? The large sea of digital is what I mean.
So healthcare is a very wide industry. When I say wide, the product categories are so wide.
Correct.
And each of them go extremely deep.
Right.
So like 60 odd, 70 odd, just specialty categories in terms of clinical.
Correct.
And each of them have each surgery procedure is a product.
Correct.
Right? So the key here to take over things or maybe have an edge over the market is to have at least something across all of these.
Okay.
Because every person has a specific healthcare need.
Okay.
So if I don't have an answer of a toe ache on the site, it's irrelevant for me. The entire brand is irrelevant.
Right.
Because for me, the toe ache is my pain point right now.
Correct. So you're saying your strategies stay comprehensive, cover
yes,
the entire
yes,
arc,
yes.
and that's how you keep your credibility up.
Yes.
That we have a point of view on
Yeah.
anything,
Anything
right?
on-
anything and everything. We have a
Yeah,
point of view,
yeah,
and this is what it is. Amazing. So the future is going to get even more digital from here,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So as a healthcare marketer, Richard, what do you see will be the dialogue between, and already there are platforms which are facilitating the dialogue directly between the two stakeholders you spoke about,
Correct.
the doctor and the patient,
Yeah.
right? So how far is this going to go, and what do you see in terms of how digital can aid healthcare?
So
Discover, facilitate, aid, whatever.
yes, the biggest challenge now, if you see in terms of healthcare, is extremely short supply side. When I say that, the number of doctors,
Oh,
extremely short.
so that's a premium.
That's a premium.
Yeah, and they're very scarce in number.
Scars.
And,
And because of more information, the amount of or the number of people who think they are ill are more. 5 years back, you would ignore maybe 10 symptoms, saying it's normal.
True.
Now, even a simple normal symptom can lead into a person thinking that he has something. So everyone wants to meet a doctor.
Right.
So now digital is something I feel that can bridge this gap
Right.
and minimize that face time the doctor needs to have with the patient,
Correct.
and still make it effective, the same human touch
Right.
and quality of treatment delivered.
How do you see that happening? How does the time minimization happen?
I don't, for example, in a regular scenario, I see a doctor today. He prescribes me certain tests. I go get it done. And he says, okay, come and see me after a week. Now, what happens after a week is that 5-minute interaction where I just need to see the reports and say everything is okay. Or you continue this medicines. So, this follow-up interaction can completely be digitized
Sure.
or an online matter. I don't have to even come and see the doctor.
Again.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I can
Just
just
a
have
one
like
interaction is enough.
a 2-minute call.
Correct.
Or maybe a auto-responded message which is vetted by the doctor.
Correct.
That can happen. And there's a lot of AI that is bringing in terms of the clinical triaging space. So in the traditional space again, you go to a doctor, he starts from, okay, what is your height, your weight, what's your history,
Correct.
and all of that. And this is all probabilistic science which falls into flowcharts.
Correct.
Now the AI, though cannot replace a doctor, can help the doctor in terms of narrowing the entire time.
Sure.
The AI knows what questions to ask,
Sure.
narrow down the symptoms, and say, okay, now this is a probabilistic diagnosis. The doctor can take over from that.
Right.
So there's a lot of time saved.
Sure.
And this can happen when the person is traveling to the hospital in a car.
Right,
You can just take his mobile, do the entire triaging space.
Right.
And the other space where it can save is the associated industry, the pharma delivery,
Sure.
the drug sample collection.
All
of
the
that
the
can be-
peripheral industries
correct.
around the consultation,
healthcare,
the
yes,
doctor,
yes,
and
yes.
or the procedure or the consultation.
Yes. So all of that can be integrated in a place
Yeah.
that I can get everything in a place either at my home or at the hospital.
Yeah, and all of this can be facilitated largely
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah.
digital and enhanced by
Yes,
digital.
yes.
Right? So one of the key problems with healthcare is the experience, right?
Yeah.
And so when somebody has a grievance, right? It's a space where it can go to a great extreme, right? If the grievance is not addressed in time, right? Or there is some sort of, from the business side or from the institution side, there is some sort of dialogue, right?
Correct.
Without which it can sort of take its own trajectory. So how do you manage the volume, Richard? I mean, I'm sure with a large group like Yashoda, there's a huge volume of stuff coming in, right? And I'm guessing it rests largely on your team's
yes,
shoulders.
yes.
So how do you do that?
We have a small team that takes care of ORM and the reviews, and there's another team who's dedicatedly works on customer relations,
Sure.
which is not part of the digital team, but we work in
Closely.
Yeah. So our job is to scan and immediately report
Find it, yeah.
So there have been instances where there's a person in the room who's tweeted,
Sure.
and there's a person into the room in the next 5 minutes to address their needs.
Oh, wonderful.
Right? So, and that really helps.
Yeah.
So this is what I've been trying to propagate from my side, right?
Sure.
So the healthcare industry, if you see any of those thought leaders say healthcare has to be patient centric.
Correct.
So I want to give a different spin to it and say no, healthcare has to stop being patient centric, be people centric.
Right.
In any given point of time, only 30% of the people in the hospital are patients. The rest 60% are not patients.
Correct.
They're attenders, they're staff, they're doctors.
Correct.
A patient, happy, unhappy, might not create bad or positive things to a hospital.
But actually, it's the other
The
ways.
attender,
Yeah.
Unsatisfied attender can create more negative chatter online
Correct.
than a happy patient.
Correct. The patient really won't have the stamina to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas the attender is all ears and very active.
It's like the diaper business, right?
Correct.
Somebody wears it, somebody consumes it.
Correct.
The attender is the one interacts to the entire journey
Correct.
in the hospital.
Correct.
The
And it's
patient
not
is
the
just
patient.
Not
Yeah.
the patient.
Very nicely put. Be people-centric, not patient-centric.
yes.
What was the best campaign of late you've seen in the healthcare space? And which institution? And what was it around? I mean, that really sort of moved you and impressed you.
In fact, I want every of my campaign to be better than the previous one. So I would definitely tell the recent campaign, and coincidentally, it has happened to be with PAD.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we worked on a campaign on the entire thing about transplants, organ
Correct.
transplant, and
It's called
second chances. Yeah. And we co-discovered that there is no single entity or something who's giving the entire gamut of information
Correct.
that is non-transactional
Correct.
and only focusing on giving information
Correct.
from the time somebody thinks they might need a transplant and how to go about it, both in terms of clinical, in terms of legal, in terms of the processes that each state has.
It's as sensitive and compliance driven a space as any within healthcare.
Yes.
The whole availability of an organ,
Correct.
itself is the discovery of it is so arduous.
And it's also extremely financial burden.
Heavy,
Financially heavy, right? So I think that really worked really well.
Good.
The kind of brand mileage we got out of the entire campaign
Correct.
in terms of metrics as well.
Right. But otherwise, in healthcare today, right, the way institutions talk or the way businesses talk, it's very product selling and very we have this machine, right? It can do these kind of tasks, and all of this reporting happens quicker or whatever. So, where is the conversation with the people? Where is the sort of being helpful to people? I think is one of the biggest spaces that healthcare can occupy.
Correct.
Not being preachy, but just being a part of their life. Have you come across any such brand today, Richard, that's sort of investing there? And I know it takes a lot from the P&L, but there is merit to it. And have you come across something lately?
So all brands are now gradually reducing being more of pompous and saying we have the best, we have the technology, and they are progressing towards it. So as I say, the disruption is not happening within.
Right.
If you see, the hospitals are not innovating much.
Right.
The newcomers into healthcare space are actually innovating and disrupting. So the medtech space, the health aggregator space,
they're adopting.
So
strategies.
The health aggregation industry, if you see,
correct.
Their communication and the marketing is more of creating that value around it, and that's how they're able to attract
larger volumes. Even though it's small transactions, they're able to attract. And it's sometimes not even a very serious space. It's just a test or a sample or something.
And the other side is the wellness side.
Sure.
Right. The
That's
fitness
big.
chain and the diet and nutrition kind of in the industry.
I think every third or fourth person on the street will have a decent understanding of what keto is. So you're saying all the other supplementary functions and the businesses around healthcare are adopting the strategies quicker. But still institutions are sort of not disrupting internally.
It is.
And that needs to happen quickly. Richard, I'll just do this last segment with you, where I ask you some questions in quick succession. And just
Sure.
shoot away. So, what is the future of online consultation? Is it virtual reality driven or
It would be AI driven,
right?
provided there is some lacks in the legalities
Sure.
in terms of so there are certain laws says the doctor cannot prescribe
Sure.
directly to a patient on online channels, and it's a gray area.
Sure. Sure.
Right? And but I think that will be sorted very soon.
Sure.
As I said,
Because the consumer patient benefit is so high.
so high, and there's a very short demand
Correct.
in
Correct.
terms of supply.
Correct.
Sorry,
Very short
can you cut
supply.
that?
Very short supply.
Very short supply in terms of doctors and the same. So online consultation should and will take up a bigger space in the industry.
Sure. So, what is more effective now that you're in the digital space? Is it still word of mouth that this doctor did a good job with me, or is it what is the weightage of that to a great digital presence of a brand and the credibility it builds online? What is working better in the market today? How's the maybe I'll just sort of change that question a little bit. What is the weightage looking like? Word of mouth testimonials versus a brand working hard on digital to sort of look credible and
The weightage is definitely moving towards digital, but it cannot be completely digital.
right.
So the behavioral pattern has changed.
Right.
So earlier, if a friend suggested me
Yeah.
to buy something, I would just go and buy it.
Correct.
If he recommended a doctor, I would just go and meet.
Correct.
But as I said, the patient is now becoming more aware, and the consumer traits are becoming stronger.
Correct.
So the word of mouth is becoming a trigger.
Right.
I'll go online, research, and reinforce whether the person said is right or wrong.
Right.
So the online presence become more of an affirmation, and
Yeah. Whether it was his
it's a
unique
validation.
experience or a
Yes.
few other people have had the same
Yes,
quality
yes.
of
It
experience.
creates a validation. Definitely.
Correct. Correct. So you're saying they go hand in glove.
Yes.
It is a combination of word of mouth and
Yes,
online, right? How do you, for a campaign, determine? So, like you said, there are so many channels, right, in the digital space. How do you determine which channel is the most effective?
So we look at various aspects of a particular service that we want to promote.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Some services are maybe profile driven.
Sure.
So we say, okay, if the person falls into this category, age, gender, all of that, that person most likely is in this bucket.
Spending time
yeah,
here.
we can push content to that.
Sure.
But certain services are irrespective of any demographic. It can
age,
come anytime. So it is pull.
Correct.
So there are certain triggers that can indicate, okay, this person is the right customer for me because he's done certain searches.
Correct.
He's shown some behaviors.
Correct.
We kind of address the every change in this buying cycle or the decision making cycle. So I can say that search to surgery, right?
Sure.
The entire gamut of it. Discovery, validation, research, validation, discovery, then availing the service.
Correct. Correct.
So it depends. So as I said,
Depends on which specialization you're doing the campaign for and who is the likely
Yes.
to be the person.
Yes, yes.
But you rely a lot on data generated from search.
Also, yeah.
So that basically helps you.
So we take data from the online space in terms of search,
Sure.
keyword research and stuff.
Sure.
But we also take insights from the clinicians.
Sure.
There are certain things that, for example, there is a treatment for a cough
Right.
and they prescribe an antibiotic.
Right.
Now, just the drug searches are a huge space.
Okay.
Right? What is this drug safe for my child?
Correct. Correct.
It's a huge space.
Right.
So that insights we get from the clinician,
Sure.
and the seasons and the symptoms change by season.
Right.
So it's a mix of both.
Right. Do you get your data and research? You trust a source? Is there any trusted source which you really sort of respect and gives you accurate, or at least has been giving you good, accurate information and trends?
Google has been a major bigger platform in terms of keyword research and stuff.
Sure.
In terms of clinical, it's multiple.
Okay.
So each specialization has a body that
Sure.
is authoritative in that space.
So, is there a digital opinion leader out there, Richard, that you think today has done a fabulous job of sort of, not just propagating the right way to live and what's the right thing to do when you are in during an event related to any organ or any sort of. Is there somebody
in the
who's
healthcare space?
in the healthcare space? Has there been somebody who's been doing fairly well that you?
Multiple brands to say.
Sure.
Taking
So,
the name.
like institutional brands.
Yeah, institutional brands.
Okay.
Yeah. The bigger chains, the multi-city chains in
Sure.
the country, I think they're doing a good job out of it.
A new email subscriber or a social media follower, and why?
A social media follower.
Okay.
Yeah. I think emails are dated. I
Right.
don't believe in emails anymore.
Right.
Unless it's a transactional email that I get. A social media follower is more valuable,
Sure.
right? And I can engage with him
Yeah.
multiple times
Yeah.
and in multiple formats.
Correct.
So email kind of narrows down the kind of engagement I have.
Sure. But isn't an email follower or a subscriber a more serious one who wants, or is it, you're sure it's mostly a B2B thing?
So email is more of a transaction that I see.
Sure.
So there's no emotion
Correct,
there
correct.
in an email.
Correct. So I mean, as a marketer, you prefer, and for
Yeah.
this, for the healthcare space also, you prefer a social
Yeah,
media follower. What according to you is the most trusted platform for information? Richard, I'm asking you tough questions.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
in the healthcare space today, if I was a patient,
Hmm.
who should I go by, and which is the platform I should go by?
Um,
Accuracy wise, information, precision, accuracy, context.
I would suggest don't. Because
Very nicely
a
put.
patient is not qualified to assimilate the kind of information that is
Sure,
there
sure.
online.
So I was wrong
Yeah.
at the very beginning of this question.
That's okay, but there are global chains like Mayo Clinic and
Right.
WebMD
Right.
and stuff who are not completely for profit.
Right.
So they have a lot of onus in terms of the content that they put in.
Right.
But use the content only as a direction and not as a prescription.
Sure, sure. Richard, thank you so much
Yeah, my pleasure.
for the time. You're, like you said earlier today when we were
Yeah.
talking, you're half a doctor now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very, 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 very nice chatting with you.
Thank you.
And
My
I wish you
pleasure.
all the best. And I hope a lot of these new things that you're talking about, you're at the forefront of these. You know, when these technologies are adopted and when sort of patients get this kind of experiences. And I'll come back another day and rack your brains around this,
Anytime.
about what's happening in that space. So yeah,
Great.
that's a wrap. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and all the best
that's it.
for OCD.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. And that was another episode with Richard Roy Mendonce, half a doctor and a fitness enthusiast. Works in the healthcare space, so he knows better. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on another episode.